What's up, everybody? In this episode, I sit down with Joe Schwartz. Joe is one of the members of the LSU women's basketball coaching staff, and he does really everything A to Z with the staff. And we sit down, we talk about everything from their national championship run, the tournament, girls stepping up, the Angel Reese story. It's a great episode. Enjoy, guys. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Up and In Show. I am here at Cards and Culture on the purple couch. Got my girl Lila with me, but also have a special guest, my guy Joe Schwartz. Thank you so much for the time. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
No, dude, you're like the man right now. We were just talking about this. You're on a winning tour. You guys are fresh off your national championship with LSU women's basketball. So first and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you. This has been crazy past couple of days.
I got a feeling it's got to be just a whirlwind of everything, right?
Yeah, it's still really hasn't fully set in yet, but it's slowly starting to. It's been a heck of a ride.
Yeah, and so that happened Sunday, right? And today we're recording this on Wednesday. So you've had Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, 3 nights. It probably has gone like this, but
oh yeah, they've all just kind of blurred together.
It's all just one day.
All
much.
just one day, yeah, and just a few hours of sleep here and there, but it's exciting.
That's awesome. Well, you guys have brought a lot of good energy to LSU and Baton Rouge this year. It's been super fun to follow. I've been a big fan of Kim and the team for the couple years that she's been here, but I'm excited to dive into your story a little bit, how you've kind of connected with Coach Milky, and just your relationship with some of the girls. You can see it on TV, and obviously there's a special group of girls with their personalities, but also their talent and who they are and what they represent. So I'm excited to dive in. But let's talk a little bit about you. Maybe you start with like a little 2-minute rundown of who you are. I always like to let the guests kind of introduce themselves and
yeah. So from Waco, Texas, was born there, born and raised, went to a small private school there, and then walked on at the University of Texas under Coach Barnes, played for him for 1 year. He was let go, and Coach Shaka Smart came in my sophomore year and played for him for 3 years, ended up getting my master's there my 5th year, worked in a sport leadership department under a professor named Darren Roberts, who's one of my biggest mentors. Coached in the NFL for a while and decided he wanted to get back into teaching. And then after that, I was kind of lost, didn't really know what I wanted to do after I got my master's, and ended up taking a job with the Pelicans in New Orleans. Spent 9 months, 10 months there before COVID hit and was laid off because of COVID. And so that kind of stunk, but ended up moving back to Waco, did some real estate, was doing private lessons, basketball, at my old high school. And then my high school coach approached me. He's now the athletic director at our high school, and asked me if I would be willing to coach a little bit. And so I volunteered to coach 2 middle school teams a couple days a week, and that ended up turning into head middle school coach for 7th grade, head middle school coach for 8th grade, head JV coach, and then decided I would help with varsity a little bit. And the varsity coach at the time was the head football coach, so they needed someone to be the head varsity coach until football season ended. So I thought it was going to be kind of a part-time gig because I was doing real estate full-time, and ended up coaching 4 teams and loved every bit of it, and grew up around Coach Milky. Her son's one of my best friends, and his season had gotten canceled due to COVID, so he was back in Waco, and I spent a lot of time at Coach's house during COVID. And when I was coaching high school ball, I would just kind of pick her brain a little bit and, well, hey, Coach, what offense should I run against the zone? We've got 7th graders who don't know how to play defense. Should we play man? Should we go 1-3-1? Whatever. Yeah. And so I think she saw kind of my interest in basketball, and I really wanted to stay in coaching. And sure enough, she gets the job here. And I was actually at her house when LSU had first contacted her, and it's kind of out of the blue with no context. She was like, would you go to LSU with me if I took the job? And I was like, yeah, no doubt, 100%. She goes, don't tell anyone I've been contacted because there's a lot of steps. Yeah. Well, within like 3 days, she had taken the job, and she was like, as soon as I know if there's going to be a spot on staff, like, I'll let you know. And so sure enough, I think it was June 28th, 2 days after her daughter had their second baby, I was on the golf course, and she calls me. I'm on like hole 14 or 15. I just finished 14, was walking up to 15's tee box, and she called. She said, where are you? I said, I'm on the golf course. She said, come to my house right now. I was playing with a big group of people, and they you don't leave in the middle of a round. And she was like, I need you at the house. And so I pulled up to the house, and it was her and Johnny Derrick, who is our head director of operations, and they had the papers there, and they were like, hey, we need to know today.
No
and
way.
I was like, can I think about it? She's like, no, we're putting you on payroll starting July 1 if you take the job. And I was like, I'll sign right here. So John Hancocked that paper, and the rest is history.
Dude, that's fucking epic.
Yeah.
I love that.
It was crazy.
That's intense. That's like draft signing stories, like, hey, you're on the clock. Like, otherwise we're going to give it to somebody else.
Right.
Or, wow.
And
made a good decision, dude.
Yeah, best decision I could have ever made. Yeah, but it was the easiest yes, because I've known Milky for a long time. Like I said, Kramer, my best friend.
Yeah.
And when she called, I was like, yeah. I mean, I like Louisiana. I'd spent a couple months there before COVID, and I'd been to some LSU games, and I was like, yeah, let's give it a shot, see what happens.
Awesome. And so did she kind of define your role right then and there and kind of knew exactly, hey, I know Joe, I've been around him, he would be great in this role? Like, I always think about that from coach's perspective, right? Like, what makes her such a good coach? She knew exactly where to hire you, how to put you, in a position to succeed.
I think she had an idea. I don't know if she knew exactly what role, because she wasn't sure if everyone was going to come with her from Baylor. She knew her main coaches were, and her ops people were going to be there. But I think, and the one thing that she kept reiterating is your youth, your energy, your ability to connect with anyone and everyone, my networking, just anything that I can do to help the program.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where we are now. Like, my official title is assistant director of basketball operations, but I tell everyone it's in other duties as assigned. So whatever she needs me to do, I'm happy to do it.
I mean, you guys have a great thing going, and if you guys have that great relationship, what does it matter, right? You're all contributing to the end goal, which is to win a national championship, and that's what you guys did. So, man, I love that. How much would you say to people that, to me, that have gone on to be successful after playing college sports? I always like to know, was it any of your coaches? You said you had a mentor during your master's program. What do you think put you in that position to get that call from Coach Milky to be that person,
I think a lot of it was COVID. COVID was a tough time for a lot of people, and I have friends from college, friends from high school that have great jobs, investment bankers, real estate, other coaches at other schools, and life hits you pretty hard when you're 23, 24 years old living at your parents' house. And I knew that's not what I wanted to do my whole life. I knew I needed a place to reset and kind of find myself again, because I loved my gig with the Pelicans. It was awesome. But when COVID hit, there was really no place for what I was doing. And so I think going back home, being in Waco around my parents, the best support I could have ever gotten from mom and dad, just told me to keep plugging. You're going to find something. But it kind of sucks when weeks go by, months go by, and nothing's really happening. The world was shut down. So I didn't really have a bad excuse to be living at home. But at the end of the day, I'm like looking up, I'm like, come on, I got to get something. So I started calling other coaches, but they were kind of in a pause too. They didn't know what was going to happen the next few months. And so I just kept plugging along, got my real estate license, loved what I was doing. I love real estate, still have my real estate license. And I just, being around young kids and coaching and being able to have an impact on their lives at a school that meant so much to me, even though I never won a state championship in high school, I played in one semifinal, and then lost in a regional. So I lost to the team that won it all every year in high school. Damn. So I was that close, but it was more. It's not about the wins and losses. Yeah, those are special, but it's about the lasting impact that you can have on kids. And I think I've seen that from Coach, and it all came full circle as a staff member looking across from our bench into the sea of purple and gold. You kind of dissect that crowd, and you see players that were on Coach Milky's 05 national championship team, on her 2012 national championship team, on that 19 national championship team. So it just shows the impact that she's not only had as a coach, but the lasting impact that she's had on those players' lives. And for me, even though it was on such a small scale as a middle school and high school coach, now that I'm getting to coach young ladies who are, I mean, hell, they're celebrities. It's just nuts. Knowing that I can have just a little bit of an impact on their lives. That's what makes this thing so fun.
Yeah, dude. I love that you said that too, because I think people drastically underestimate the impact that coaches have on younger individuals' development. You know, I can't tell you how many different coaches I still have visions of, right? I'm 33 years old. I've lived my life. I've been around the world. I've played, you know, at the highest levels, been to the highest levels of things. I remember 7th grade basketball coaches, right? 8th grade basketball coaches, baseball coaches in high school, like just little things that they said that stuck with me my whole life. So you've definitely done that for those kids, but then even just the memories and the impact that you're having on these women, you know, here at college is going to be extraordinary. And just as you mature as a man too, right? Your life experiences, you're just going to be able to give them more experience and wisdom. So I think coaching is really, really powerful. I'm excited to see what you guys continue to do over there at that program.
Yeah, it's special. There's I know you mentioned some of your high school coaches. I had a buddy who he played at Oklahoma State. He was a walk-on, and he passed away during COVID I think it was in the middle of COVID, and he was an assistant coach at St. Louis. His uncle is the head coach there. And there's a bracelet that his wife sent to a bunch of our buddies, and it said the journey is a reward, and it's signed with his initials on it. And I keep that on my desk when I'm in the office. It's in my backpack when we're on the road. And it's just a constant reminder that life is precious. And my grandma used to always say, keep on keeping on. And whether times are really good or times are really bad, you've got to put your right foot in front of your left and just keep moving forward. And like I said, this national championship still hasn't fully set in yet, but I know we're about to dive into it, but the journey, I mean, where we started this year to where we've come and where we are now, it's crazy.
Yeah, and we'll definitely dive into that. I mean, I think I won a national championship in 2009 at LSU, and I still think I feel the impacts and damn, it's crazy how this happened because of this or whatever, right? So I think that's going to be the fun part, and the journey is still going to continue for you guys. Yeah, you guys won the game and did everything that you guys needed to do, and you guys have that ring and the trophy, but there's going to be so much more impact that you guys are going to do. And there's still girls that are going to come back next year, you know, and all that stuff. So
and the #1 recruiting class in the country.
That's fun too.
And the #1 player in the country. So
that's fun.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. All right, so let's dive in a little bit about this year's team. You guys had pretty much a whole new roster. So talk to me a little bit about that transition. You obviously came in with Coach, and you got to see her first year. But this year, you know, you had all new faces. And how do you kind of corral a team and get them together to, you know, try to pull on the same end of the rope?
Yeah, we had 9 new players, which is crazy to think about. You had a mix of 4 freshmen. You had a bunch of transfers from all different backgrounds and all different coaching styles. You had Big Ten, you had Big 12, you had former SEC with LaDeja. She was at South Carolina and Missouri. Like, you had kids from all over the country. And so as we sat down as a staff before the season started trying to think of a theme for the year, we just kept talking about, we've got all these different pieces. And so Coach Starkey, being the genius that he is, piece it together. She said, that's going to be our goal. If we can somehow take all these puzzle pieces and piece it together, we're going to do something really special. And look at us now. I mean, we took a team that had won 9 games before we got here as a staff, started to build this thing last year, and a lot of that is a testament to the girls that we had, the Kayla Pointers, the Jalen Cherries, Autumn Newby, the Faustine, like all those girls who had been at LSU for a while, their willingness to trust Coach Milky in year 1 and stay and help kickstart this. And then seeing them come back this year and show up to games, support our program in a positive way, that's what you need. And then I look back to when we started recruiting Flage. Her biggest thing was, I want to be a rapper and I want to be a basketball player. Basketball is what she does, but music is her therapy. That's what she always says. And a lot of schools in the recruiting process basically said, you got to pick. Like, you can't do that. You can't do both. Really? And I kept telling her mom, I said, all Coach Milky wants from Flage, 3-4 hours a day of basketball. Yeah. She can be a student. She can rap. She can do whatever she wants. But for those 3-4 hours, she needs to be locked in, focused on basketball, focused on recovery, taking care of her body. And she can do both. And so it really clicked when Flage was on her visit. But the other thing was, we needed a big-name kid like Flage to commit to us to start building around. Yes. And so she was kind of the nucleus of that recruiting class. And then we get a kid, Samaya Smith, 2-time state champion at DeSoto, which is one of the best. I think they had 7 kids on her high school team go D1. Like, that's unheard of.
There's 2 bench people going D1.
Exactly. and a lot of them to Power 5 schools.
Right.
I think 5 went to the SEC. So you get a kid like Samaya, then you get Elisa Williams, who didn't see a lot of court action this year, but one of the best teammates that we have.
Yeah.
It's just, and then Izzy Besselman, a local kid, walk-on.
Yeah.
And I've got all the love and support in the world as a walk-on when I was at Texas. So I'm trying to teach Izzy kind of the ways. Like, you maybe don't need to be in every rep. Like, let some of the scholarship guys go. Like, it's nothing against you, but if you're not going to be playing, like, maybe back off a couple steps. But you better be the loudest one on the bench. You better be clapping. You better be cheering. I better never look down and you pout because I was in your shoes. And that's been fun. I was talking to Izzy's parents after we won it all, and I said, I kind of joked with Izzy all year long. I was like, well, I shot 100% from 3 my freshman year. And she was like, yeah, well, I scored more than you my freshman year. And she played an NCAA tournament game. She won an NCAA tournament game. She won a Sweet 16 game, got to a Final Four, and now she's a national championship. So I told her parents, I was like, all right, Izzy's got it. She's got it.
She's wearing the crown.
Yeah.
She got the walk-on crown.
She got the walk-on crown, but she's special. We've got such a special group. And like you said, we've got a bunch of those pieces coming back. We're going to miss the heck out of Alexis and LaDeja. And hell, Jasmine Carson, freaking Jasmine Carson. That first half,
dude, is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And to me, like, obviously, basketball, dude, it's real easy, too, to lose your starting spot and be able to kind of check out and be like, whatever. Like, to come in and be that person when the team needed you the most, too, and then to just 23 in the first half or something like that?
21, 22, somewhere around there,
20-something plus in the first half.
Didn't miss a shot. 7 for 7 from the field.
Just the energy, too, right? That brings to a team, and the excitement was like, dude, that was I don't think the championship, but one of the defining moments by far.
Yeah, and there was a reporter that came up to me after the game. I don't know who she was with, but she said, would you have ever expected that from Jasmine Carson? Like, have you ever seen anything like that? I'm like, yeah. Have you watched us play this year? It was funny, and I'm actually going to pull this up so I don't get it wrong. And I was texting in our staff group text yesterday because it's actually crazy. Jasmine, when we wore purple jerseys this year, some of her big games, Tulane, 8 for 13, 21 points. Oregon State, 5 for 12, 12 points. Missouri, 5 for 9, 12 points. Bama, 8 for 14, 20 points. Florida, 9 for 20, 25 points. Vandy, 3 for 9. 3 big threes, 9 points. And then Iowa, national championship game in the purple jersey, 22 points.
Oh, my God.
Like, I don't know if it's the purple jerseys, but it's something. And I've seen Jasmine early mornings, late nights, after practice, getting tons of shots up. She's one of the most pure outside shooters I've ever seen on the men's or women's side. She's got such a quick release, such a pretty shot. And it's just like Coach Starkey always says, keep depositing those checks. So when it's time to withdraw, like, cash out. And you always have to be ready. And like,
the checks.
It's just like Jazz, as you said, you hit that fork in the road. She had been in the starting lineup, I think, every game but one leading up to the NCAA tournament. And from a physicality standpoint, Jazz isn't the most physical. She'll tell you that. But her willingness to say, hey, Kateri, like, you take my starting spot, I'm going to come in and give us a spark off the bench. And sure enough, when we needed her most, I mean, she rise to the occasion.
Dude, I love that. I love stories like that too, just the leadership. Because like I said, I've been on teams where, like, people are just the downer because of that. You're like, dude, come on. Like, you bring so much more value in other ways, right? But they get something stuck in their head and they can't let go of it, and they just check out, right? So for me, I was like, oh my God, look at this girl. Like, this is the moment. And that's when you win a national championship, you need those moments. You need those players, right? That's what separates you to win the big games and things like that. So I love that was a huge storyline for you guys and for her. I'm excited she's coming on my podcast later today, so I appreciate you hooking that up. Yeah, tell her story. She's awesome.
And she deserves it. I mean, she's got – people needed to realize, like, Jasmine can play. And there is something funny, and I don't know if Coach would like this, but I'm going to say it anyway. So we had shoot-around the morning of the national championship game, which that's a huge testament to our girls' grit and willingness to prepare – to win, because normally if we have a 2:30 game, we don't have shoot around. But for the NCAA, starting with the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament, when you have different game times and you don't get a lot of time on the main floor that you're playing on, you want to get as many shots up as you want. So we had a big pep rally the night before the national championship game, and we get back to our meeting room. We had watched a little bit of film, and Coach goes, guys, I'm leaving this up to y'all. Do y'all want to have shoot around? The only time we can get on the court is 7:45. We have an hour, but we got to leave the hotel about 7:15, which means taping and breakfast at 6:30. The girls are like, yep, we're doing it.
I love it.
And so we get to shoot around, great energy. We huddle up after like we always do. Mulkey's got her arms around the girls, and she says, I want each kid who's not a senior to go put your arm around a senior. And she said, and it's kind of giving me chills talking about it right now. She was like, seniors, this is the last shoot around you will ever have in this LSU jersey. She said, this is the last possible day that you could have a shoot around. You and Iowa are the only two teams left. And seniors, she said, 2 of y'all will probably go play in the WNBA. 3 of y'all will probably have the chance to play professionally. And right when she said that, I kind of saw this look in Jasmine's eyes because she knew that Coach was talking about Alexis and LaDeja.
Yeah.
And Jasmine's a pro. She can play at the next level.
Yeah.
But I think something clicked with her when Mulkey said 2 of y'all will play in the WNBA. And Jazz was like, all right, I'm going to show the world tonight.
Yeah, I love
and
that.
so sure enough, that second quarter, say what you want, Jasmine Carson was the best and most efficient shooter on the court that night. Caitlin Clark's best player I've seen in a long time. But Jasmine, freaking Jasmine Carson.
Dude, she was butter, too. That shit was not touching
the rim.
Dude, it was so nice.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, man. Yeah, I love that, man. I love that story. I love hearing those things from Coach Milky, too, just to put things in perspective, right? Motivating people, inspiring people. Yeah. That's super fun. And then Jasmine rising to the occasion.
Well, and it was like I was talking to Mikey and Jared the other night, and when I was telling them this story, they were like, yeah, well, Maneri basically said the same thing. They're like, what if I would have told you going into game 3 for a natty, we got Anthony on the mound?
Yeah.
Like,
I tell that story all the time in the sense of like, I can't say it without tears coming to my eyes because as a 19-year-old kid, right, you're sitting there and you're like, all right, well, and you know, like as good as the season that I was having, as confident as I was, you're like, whew, everything's on me tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and so for your coach to put that in perspective and then feel the energy around there and be like, oh shit, everybody believes in this. Like, let's go. This is it. That's the difference. And to me, that's what makes a good coach, right? Is putting and what everybody said, not everybody, but a lot of people that I would be talking to about the girls, right? Man, I'm a little nervous. Like, Iowa's got all the momentum. They got Caitlin Clark. I'm like, I get it. I hear you. But Coach Mulkey's going to be ready for this shit. She's like, that's what you trust in as a great coach, right?
Going into it, she was 3-0 in national championship games as a head coach. So
I'm like, let's look at the numbers.
Look at the numbers. And there's nothing. I mean, everyone's seen all this stuff on SportsCenter about the trash talk, but to see 9.9 million viewers, and I think it peaked with 12.1 million viewers for a women's basketball game, and not even really in a primetime, 2:30 on a Sunday. I mean,
2:30 on a Sunday.
If that game was a 6 or 7 p.m. game, you might have had more. But just to know what we had kind of from an ammunition standpoint, the most special thing I think, though, which we didn't see all year, if Flage got in foul trouble or Angel got in foul trouble, they normally come to the bench and they want to put a towel over their head. But not in the national championship, and to see them every time that we hit a big shot. And it wasn't just Jazz. Last year, Poa comes in and hits 2 big threes and had a really nice dime kind of shot fakes, gets to the paint, dishes it. Jazz had a nice assist to LaDeja. It's like we had been waiting for that bench production. And then Samaya, a true freshman, comes in and just didn't do anything crazy good, but she didn't hurt us. Exactly. And that was the biggest thing that Coach had been trying to preach. Bench, you don't have to be heroes, but you can't hurt us. Exactly. Come in, and I knew when Angel picked up her second foul, Alexis had her foul, and Flage had her second foul, if we could get to halftime and still have a double-digit lead, I was like, we're going to be fine. Yep. But the problem is with Iowa, if it's a 9, 8, 7-point game, like that's 3 possessions.
It's quick,
too. And sure enough, so we get in the locker room at halftime, we're up 17. And I'm like, oh, my God, we were up 17 against Tennessee, and we saw how fast that went away. And sure enough, they start on a 12-0 run, and we're like, oh, my God, here we go again. Yep. But we were able to weather the storm. We knew Iowa was going to throw their punches. Yep. And I just think it just goes to show the type of kids that we have. We've got some absolute dogs on our team. Yeah. And they're not the biggest. They're not the strongest. They're not the tallest. But the willingness to win and the heart that they had, they weren't letting us down.
No, and that's kind of what you felt when you were watching it, right? Basketball is a lot about runs and momentum and stuff, and that's why it kind of bothered me after the game. Like, there was a lot of chatter about Angel and Caitlin and all that stuff, right? And there was a lot of comments about how Angel didn't dominate the game and Caitlin dominated her, and it was like, just because she had 15 points and Caitlin had 30 does not mean that she dominated, because to me, basketball is about runs, right? Like, and about controlling runs. And when somebody gets an offensive board and Iowa's on a run and you get an offensive board, put it up or go to the free throw line, that kills all their momentum. And so to me, that is dominating a game. So I think, you know, just the ability to be gritty and to be like, all right, I'm not dropping 25 tonight and having 18 rebounds, but I'm going to have 15, 10, and 5, and I'm going to dribble up the ball and not let you guys drop down into the paint the same way you did against South Carolina, right? That to me is controlling the game.
And I think a lot of that is a testament to, like I talked about the other day, when we were going into the NCAA tournament, Mulky said that we needed 5 things to get us to a Final Four and give us a chance to potentially win a championship. And it starts with focus. That's the most important thing. Focus, leadership, execution, and then the 2 things that got us to where we were, defense and rebounding. So those 5 things, and they locked in on the scouting report. We watched film on what South Carolina did and didn't do to Iowa. We watched a lot of games on how teams guarded Iowa. I mean, heck, Iowa lost 6 games this season before we played them. So we knew they were beatable.
Right.
And we really, and all credit to Coach Starkey. And Kevin Garnett tweeted the other night, he was like, whoever did the scouting report for the Iowa game for LSU is a genius. Like,
let's go.
And so we all sent it to Coach Starkey, and Coach Starkey tweeted back like, yeah, this means a lot. But Coach Starkey's always in the film room. Coach Starkey and Coach Milky put those 2 minds together for a game plan. And so what they decided, they were like, you can't stop Caitlin Clark. She's unstoppable. She's going to get hers. But what you can't do is you can't fall into this thing like, we've got to change everything to stop Caitlin Clark. We're going to go double and triple team her. Well, she's such a good passer, and she's such a good player and has such a good basketball IQ. She sees where the double's coming from, so she dishes it. She sees your pick and roll coverage, so she's going to throw the ball before her girl's even rolling.
Exactly.
So you're not going to stop her, but if you can limit her and contain her, she didn't take a 2-point shot until trash time.
Exactly.
I mean, all she took was threes, and she was going to make some, but 5 or 6 threes, 8 threes weren't going to beat you.
Exactly.
And so it goes back to those 5 things: focus, leadership, execution. We had all of that. But then defense and rebounding. We play solid man-to-man defense, and if you limit teams to 1 shot, that's what got us to the championship game. So why try and get cute and change it up? And so we decided, we did a few things on ball screens, and they run some crazy actions for Caitlin Clark.
But you guys sniffed that shit out.
Right.
I watched every single play, and that to me was the key, right? Exactly what you said. Let's pencil in 30 for Caitlin. She's on a fucking roll. Let's pencil that in, but let's not get her to 42, and let's not let her have a triple-double and control the game.
But
right?
even if it was 42, that would have been okay. It just couldn't be 42, 12, and 10.
That's exactly right. That's
because, I mean, some of these other games,
she's running the game.
Yeah, she had there was one of the games we had watched, and she had assisted on scored her assist on 79 points, and that's like, you're gonna get beat if you let her do that.
And if you watch the game, this is where what I said. I wrote a little blog about it or whatever. But whoever, either Mulky or Starkey, whoever was the ball screens was so impressive. If you watch, and I watched all of Caitlin's games before that too, so I kind of watched the pick and roll action, exactly how you said, her 2-man game, the way she incorporated other players. So every single time she was doing back cuts, anybody was back cutting, there was nothing available for her. And to me, that was like, oh shit, okay, here we go. We got this. Now it's just about putting the ball in the hole and outscoring them, right?
Yeah, that was the main thing. And after watching the game against South Carolina, because our whole staff was there, we knew that they weren't going to guard us in certain ways. So we had to score the ball, whether it was down low, whether it was hit open shots. Now, I don't, in my wildest dreams, never would have thought we would have shot 63% from 3.
Right.
That's just unheard of.
Right.
But some of those were wide open because they didn't even come out.
Exactly.
And the scary thing is, and I was a shooter in high school. I was a shooter in college. I didn't play a lot in college, but a good shooter, if you see one go in, that net just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it gets to a point where it's like you're throwing rocks in the ocean. And so by the time there's 4 seconds left in the second quarter, Jazz is seeing the rim like you're throwing a rock into, the Pontchartrain. Like,
and it's fucking contagious. It's like baseball. Hitting's contagious, right? Yeah. One of your teammates hits a 3, you hit a 3, and things are going. Like, if you watch basketball, that's like, that shit's contagious. So, that's what it was like. Oh boy, here we go. We got a good recipe going. Like, it was fun to watch. It really was.
And I think it was special to see. Yeah, we scored on offense and we shot it well, but we never got down when Iowa scored. Like, Because Caitlin, she'll pull up from 3 steps in front of half court, and it doesn't touch anything but the bottom of the net.
Yeah, and you're like,
and your players should be like, oh my God.
Right.
But Mulky kept telling us she's going to make those. Like, that's not going to beat you. Stick to our defensive plan. Don't get backdoored. Don't let her have straight line drive layups. And we took all of that away. And it's just like seeing the girls' willingness to focus and execute. And a lot of that is a testament to the leadership from the seniors not wanting it to end with a loss. That's what won us this championship.
Yeah.
That's what's so special about all of it.
I couldn't agree more. And I love that you keep bringing up, like, the seniors buying in, too, because I want to ask you, like, when you knew this team had an opportunity or to do something special, right? Because when we won our national championship, I was a kid from New Jersey. DJ LeMahieu was a kid from Michigan. Micah Gibbs was a kid from Texas, right? Yeah. We had the main people up the middle and stuff like that all coming from Lewis Coleman's from Mississippi, right? All these people weren't born and raised LSU. There was 3 or 4 seniors that in my freshman and sophomore year that were the main people that contributed, in my opinion, to the national championship, because they educated all of us and gave us the confidence to buy into Coach Maneri's new program, right? It was like, hey, this bullshit that was happening before ain't LSU, and we're buying into Maneri and what he's selling right now. Yeah. So you get on board, and this is the way we do things with LSU. And to me, that's what won us the national championship. I say that all the time. If those guys weren't there, we don't win that national championship. So, you know, the fact that you keep saying the senior leaders and the way that the people coming back from the year before bought into Mulky and they kept coming back to the program, you know, like supporting this year was crazy to me to hear, because I'm like, it's no coincidence that fucking contributes to a national championship.
Right. And this is probably going to sound crazy, but I keep talking about senior leadership, and a lot of people have this misconception that leadership has to be the loudest person all the time. But our seniors, LaDeja's probably the quietest one on the team. Alexis told Coach that she did not want to be a captain this year. Wow. Like, you're talking about a 6-year senior that does not want to be a captain. Yeah. She said, I don't think I have the leadership qualities to be a senior, to be a captain. Yeah. So Emily Ward, she's a senior. She was one of our captains. And Angel was one of our captains. But leadership is bringing people with you along the way. And so look at a lot of the games that were really close this year that we pulled out. Look who stepped up, the seniors. So it wasn't necessarily their vocal leadership, but people can say stuff and try and get people to buy in by saying stuff, but it's your actions that really carry all the weight. So Alexis's mid-range, Alexis's three-point shooting this year, LaDeja stepping up big time with big rebounds and scoring down low. During that Iowa game, Iowa would make 2 or 3 threes, and we were scoring 2s. But then if we hadn't scored in a little bit, we'd run a little action, pop LaDeja to like mid-post, free throw line area, and she's hitting that 8 to 12-foot jumper like it's nothing. Yeah. And that's something like, she's not screaming in huddles like, hey, we got to do this, we got to do this. Give me the ball, and I'm going to knock that shot down. Yeah. Jasmine, senior, she doesn't really talk a ton, but silent assassin, call it what you want. Yeah. Emily had the bench in check the whole game, the whole season. Emily Ward, another walk-on that was actually put on scholarship this year. I was around a lot of walk-ons in college. I've got a group text of about 16 walk-ons from around the country from when I was in college, and we texted it every day. I've got buddies at Gonzaga, Kentucky, Ohio State, Texas. And so we started that group text. Actually, it was James Frischilla, Fran Frischilla's son, and my buddy Rim, who played at Gonzaga. And we talk about other walk-ons at their programs, at our program. And I was like, Emily Ward is the epitome of what a walk-on should be. She never has a bad day. She's the most positive kid. The fans love her. You're in a national championship game, and we're up 16, and you start hearing Emily's name get chanted. So awesome. And I watched it on the film the other night when Kateri hit the 3 with about when Alexis banked in the 3 with 30 or whatever seconds. I'm doing this to Mulky. I'm like, can we sub? Mulky was not hearing anything in that moment. Tears were flowing. Right. But that's the only thing, if we could have changed anything, I wish we could have put our subs in at the end to at least give the seniors one big curtain call. That would have been cool. Yeah. But they're going to get their curtain call tonight. It's a parade. Dude, they're going to get their curtain call the rest of their spring. And as you know, as a national championship at LSU, if you put a banner up or you win a trophy, you are forever cemented, and your legacy is cemented at LSU. And your guys is going to be different. It's the first ever national championship for our basketball program, right? Men's or women's. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's not only are you forever your national champ, right? We were carrying on tradition. We were number 6 out of
it's been 6 there, but so there's been 5. There's been some groundwork laid before us. You guys are literally the first. No one's gonna ever forget y'all's names, your team, this moment, all of this stuff, and so I don't know. It's you guys don't even know. We talk about the journey and stuff. Like, you're just beginning it. It's gonna be awesome. So
it's gonna be really special. And all year long, and Milky has her ways of downplaying things. She said, we haven't done anything yet but win ball games.
Yeah.
And people can talk about the cupcake non-conference schedule we had. Well, we did what we were supposed to do. We didn't know we were going to have 9 new players. We didn't know anyone besides the 4 freshmen we had coming in. But you got to have your schedule ready regardless of who's on your team. So, yeah, cupcake that. We ate the cupcake, and it tasted pretty damn good. And we went through a tough SEC schedule. People underestimate the SEC. They had 7 teams make the tournament, 4 get to the Sweet 16, and 2 to the Final Four. Like, call it what you want.
You played everybody, too, down the stretch. Like, you played everybody playing the best. Like, that you didn't match up with South, who cares? But, like, you would have. They did. They lost. They so.
Yeah, not our fault.
Yeah, exactly.
They lost to Iowa.
Yeah.
But my thing is, when you have a group of kids that hear the outside noise, pop back and start talking their own smack, but then back it up.
Yeah.
And there was, so these shirts, these Free Smoke Tour shirts, and I'll get a link out because the guy who made it, these are fire. These shirts are fire.
They're awesome.
We put these in a box, and our goal was to give them to the girls if we beat South Carolina at South Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, we got absolutely pummeled at South Carolina. Skull drag.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there, told the managers, do not open that box. Do not give them the shirts. And so Coach G, he was going on the road recruiting a couple days later to recruit a pretty impressive kid in the 24 class. And he was like, I got to wear this shirt to her game. So I was like, G, I'm not supposed to give him out, but it's a big-time recruit.
Yeah,
so here's a shirt. Well, a bunch of the girls saw that G had it, and I was like, fine, I'll give him out. And then they start backing it up. And we keep winning, and we keep winning, and we keep winning. We get to the SEC tournament. We win that first game. We played Tennessee great. We're up 17, and we let that one slip. And so we get back to campus, and we're like, all right, well, now the Free Smoke Tour, like, this is it. Maximum six dates left. Yep. And we kind of, on the back of the shirt, it's got our whole schedule on it. And everyone knows, like, the tour has to come to an end at some point. And there's one little story I'll tell. Because you ask, when did you kind of know this team had something special? All along, I knew, like, if we had the right pieces. We had the post play. We had the guard play. We had the quickness on the perimeter. We had enough size. But the Michigan game. So we beat Hawaii. It was one of the uglier games that we had played. And we get to practice the next day, and all the girls are talking about, oh, our legs are dead, this, that, the other, we're tired, blah, blah, blah. So we end practice a little bit early, and Milky doesn't really get mad or anything. She's like, all right, well, y'all go recover, rest. We'll see you tomorrow for shoot-around. Yeah. We get to shoot-around, same thing. Oh, our legs are dead. Like, do we have to feed the post? Do we have to do 2-line layups? Like, can we just shoot and get out of here? Milky walks off the court. She said, all right, we're done. And so she walks off the court, goes into the coach's locker room, and she peeps her head back out. She's like, coaches, off the court, we're done. I'm done. We're not having shoot-around. So all the coaches, we grab our bags, we go in the coach's office. She goes, I'm done. The girls, we're going to get our ass beat today. She said, we'll lose by 20, and I'm going to tell all the girls, pack your stuff. The renovations for the locker room are starting. Well, we're flipping through the channels on the TV, and we get to the cameras on the PMAC. Talk about leadership. The girls stayed on the court and ran their own shoot-around.
Nice.
We beat the absolute crap out of Michigan later that day by 24. And that was, I think, the big turning point from a postseason standpoint. Like, the seniors, when your head coach walks off the court 4 hours before a game, like, all right, we're done. The seniors like, oh, no, we're not done yet.
I love that.
And we locked Michigan up. And then you get to the Sweet 16, and you beat Utah. You beat Miami to get to a Final Four. And the night before the Miami game, we're in the film room in Greenville, and we felt really good about Miami. I mean, they 9 seed. I really don't know how they got to Elite 8, but teams get hot in March. You saw the men's tournament.
Momentum is
we
so key,
really felt like we matched up well against Miami. And Milky told the girls right before she let Coach Starkey have the floor, and then I'm going to tell the Coach Starkey story. Coach Milky said, I have so much faith in y'all girls. I guarantee you, if we beat Miami and take care of business tomorrow night, I've got a gut feeling that y'all will be playing for a national championship. I don't care who we see in the semifinal game. If we take care of business and y'all get me to a Final Four, we will play for a national championship.
Oh, my God.
And so Coach Starkey chimes in after that, and He said, girls, before y'all go to bed tonight, I want y'all, as you're laying down, you tuck yourself in, because we take our girls' phones the night before games. And it's just something that Coach has always done.
Really?
So he said, when y'all are laying in bed, when you turn the TV off, before those eyelids close, I want y'all to think back to the biggest game, your best game that you ever played, whether it was middle school, whether it was high school, whether it was an AAU tournament, whether it was in college. Like, before you lay down and go to bed, like, that's the last thing. Think about the plays that you made. Think about the points you scored. Think about the big block shots you had, that big rebound you grabbed. Think about all of that. And then when your eyes close, that's what you're going to think about while you're sleeping. And then you're going to wake up tomorrow, and that's what's going to be fresh on your mind. And you're going to climb up that ladder and cut those nets down, and we're going to go to a Final Four. And so we get into the locker room the next day before the game, and this story's been on The Athletic and everything. And Coach Starkey, we're in the coach's office or coach's locker room, and looks at Coach and says, "Coach, like, can I interrupt you? Like, I want to do something for the girls before the game." And she goes, "Sure, whatever you want." And so Milky goes into the locker room to give her pregame pep talk, whatever. Well, Starkey butts in and he said, "Girls, here's what we're playing for tonight." He said, "I want each of y'all to point at that finger and show me what finger you want your ring on." And so he goes around with a black Sharpie, players and coaches included, and he draws a line, like a circle. This is where your ring is going to go when we win this regional championship.
Oh my God.
So
this is before the Elite Eight.
This is before the Elite Eight game to go to a Final Four.
God,
He said, whatever finger you want it on, that's where I'm going to draw the circle. And he said, during the game, if something bad happens, if we have a turnover, keep looking down at that ring, and that's what you're playing for. And coaches, when you're on the bench, look down at that ring finger. Stay as positive as possible. Don't get down on the girls. If we make a mistake, like, we got to keep that energy and look down, because that's what we're playing for, rings. And so then we get to last couple of minutes of the game, and people thought we were taunting. Well, they were doing this, talking about that line. It's a team thing. And so it's just, all along I knew we had something special. But I've got to give a lot of credit to our staff as well. I mean, the players are the reason that we look good, but from the top down with Mulky and Coach Starkey, and then Coach G, who brings the energy every day. I think G was the most excited person the whole tournament. Nonstop, whether it was he got 1 hour of sleep, whether his kids were sick. After we won that Elite Eight game, we were stuck on the runway for 4 hours on an airplane.
What?
And we have 7 kids on the plane under the age of 4, crying babies, and G had 2 of them. I mean, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You can't expect these babies to be awake. But Coach said it, like, as a coach who had young kids and kids who got to watch her win championships growing up, like, that's something that will be with their kids forever, and you want to cherish those memories. And that's why I love Coach Milky so much, is she's such a family person. She always tells our coaches, like, bring your kids with you. For me, my parents were there, but my brother and I are super close. She was like, bring Jake with us. Like, my brother booked a one-way flight the Wednesday after the selection show, and he said, because he lives in Dallas, he goes, "I'm booking a one-way flight to Baton Rouge. Y'all can drop me off in Dallas." And I'm like, "Jake, you're crazy. Like, we're a 3 seed. Like, maybe we'll get to a Sweet 16 Elite 8. He was like, "No, drop me off in Dallas at the Final Four.
Let's go."
And so he kind of spoke it into existence, and sure enough, he stayed with me for 3 weeks, and it's just so special to see all of our coaching staff and support staff with their families, our administrative assistants with their families. I can't say enough about Dr. Tate and his wife. They were with us every step of the way.
That's awesome.
So Coach, she's a religious person, and our players, she wants them to have a belief in something. And so she, every Sunday, because a lot of our games are on Sundays, we do a devotional. And Shaida and Dr. Tate's wife, Miss Kim, they do devotionals every Sunday. And the message, it's not about a Bible verse. It's not about this. It's about believing, and the message that they relay to our girls. One of them was, we played a clip of Finding Nemo, just keep swimming. And she flips it to just keep dribbling. Whether times are good, times are bad, whether you have a turnover, just keep dribbling. And then kind of what stuck with us, God did. And that was kind of our motto for the last 3 games, is like, God did all this. Like, when things were going great, God did. When things were going bad, God did. And the Sunday morning before the national championship game, Miss Tate gets in front of the team, and she goes, when we're playing for that national championship today and that confetti falls down, just remember, God did. So it's like, this is more than just a group of 12 players and 10 to 12 coaches. This is a family. I mean, and the locker room is never closed. Our office is never closed. Like, seeing Scott Woodward, he wouldn't even climb up the ladder to cut down a net. He said, I want this to be for y'all.
Yeah.
And, like, your athletic director, who is one of the most powerful people in sports, to not even climb the ladder and just let the kids enjoy the moment. He knows it's not about him. And I can't say enough about the administration at LSU, their willingness to trust in Coach Milky and bring her home. I know that was an easy yes for her, but it's been a hell of a ride.
Yeah, well, I love hearing that, man. I mean, a national championship, whenever you bring a group together and you win something and you have a goal that's 2, 3, 4 months, 8 months in the making, however long, you need all those things. Like, and it's crazy to hear all the stories and everything. I mean, because, right, even somebody like me who played sports at LSU, has relationships with some coaches and knows, people like through connection. I've met some of the girls and stuff. You see things on TV and you just have that, right? Or the media saying things or whatever, and you just see the girls pointing at their rings, right? But to hear the stories, to hear a coach say, no, it was actually because behind closed doors, this is what we're telling to our players, and it's ingrained in them, and it's like, it's not taunting, and that's what's like, it's so crazy to think how the media portrays things, right? And it makes me so much, like, it literally gives me chills. I got chills right now thinking about that. The coach wrote that, and like that the media, you know what I'm saying? That it turned into this whole thing, but it's actually started behind the closed doors, and it was a motivation thing and a team thing and an intimate meaning that got blown out of proportion. But all those things are why you guys are national champions and why you have these stories for days, and why I think it's going to open up so many doors for people and teach so many people about so many things. And that's why I think Angel's such an inspiration. Flau'jae is such an inspiration. They represent things that maybe have not been represented before. So
it's special. And Coach has already written a book, and I'm sure she's going to write another one at some point. And those are the little stories that people need to hear, because it's such, as we're trying to build the game of women's basketball, Angel said it yesterday. Why has this turned into an Angel versus Caitlin fight? Angel came out and said what she said. Caitlin came out and shut everyone up yesterday by saying what she said. Like, players are going to talk trash. Like, that's, if you don't talk trash, you don't have a competitive bone in your body. Like, people want to win. Like, this stuff, like, that's being a competitor, and you never know when you're going to be on that big stage. There's coaches who coach years and years and never win a tournament game, much less get to a Final Four, much less get to play for a national championship or win a national championship, and players included. So when you're on that stage, you don't know what's going through your head. Like, Angel saw Caitlin do that against Louisville. Whoop-de-doo. That's a competitor. Talk your trash. She backed it up, and Caitlin was fine with it. Like, that's what I hate about the media. They try and make stories about stuff that talk about what our girls are doing today at Raising Cane's. They're working the drive-through in the cash register, serving meals, and they're donating a lot of that money to charity. Like, I love that. Their NIL deals, they're making a crap load ton of money, but think about the charities that they're giving back to. Think about the young girls that they're impacting. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. Like, they don't realize the impact. Flau'jae and Angel are both over 1 million followers on Instagram now. That's in large part because of their presence on the court, but look at the stuff they're doing off the court. Look at the people, the young girls who are playing basketball in their driveway. I had a young boy come up to me at the baseball game last night, and he was like, Caitlin Clark's the best player I've ever seen, and y'all slowed her down. Like, y'all played great defense. And I'm like, you've got young boys and middle school boys, high school boys. I've got grown men texting me like, that was incredible what y'all just did. Like, well, all right, if that was incredible, buy season tickets next year and be at every game because we're not stopping. So,
and to me too, like, sorry to interrupt you, but I think, and I followed you guys the whole year. I followed it last year. I followed Angel coming into the season. I've been trying to get her on my podcast. I've reached out to her a few times, but even before the season started, because I love the story. I love what Milky was building here, and I loved Angel's little bit of chip on her shoulder. She'd been doing this, licking her fingers, and like she'd been this person. I'm like, this is what college basketball women's college basketball needs. We need somebody that's gonna be eyes glued to the TV. And I felt like I knew it when I saw her at play here at LSU. I went to the games early. I'm like, yo, this girl's got everything that we want from a women's basketball perspective, right? Eyes glued on the TV, entertainment value. And then when Caitlin threw a little gas on the fire, it was the perfect recipe. I was like, this is amazing.
And Alexis Morris snapped back too when Caitlin, Alexis said that's disrespectful. As a shooter, as a player, if someone ever did that to me, I don't care if I airball the shot, I'm pulling it. Don't disrespect me like that. And But Alexis's comment was also blown out of proportion. That's not what the ESPN clip just that part about saying it's disrespectful. Alexis was saying if someone did that to me, like I would say that's disrespectful. Like I was gonna have to guard us, but they took all that stuff.
Of course,
that's what they always do. But
it's clickbait. They want the eyes on it.
But where were the real eyes? 2:30 on Sunday.
Exactly.
Like
9.9 million.
9.9 million, and I bet ESPN's ABC is pretty happy about that.
Absolutely.
So.
And that's why I was like, I know people hated it. They were like, oh, Angel went out of her way. I'm like, Caitlin also, the person who was getting taunted, also said it was great. It was fine. She probably would have done something similar. She was doing that shit during the tournament. Like it was great for the game.
Yeah, you love it. And Caitlin, like, she became one of my favorite players during the tournament. It reminded me of like Jimmer Fredette, Trey Young, like dudes that are unconscious. And I'm excited to see what she does next year. I know she's losing a lot of pieces, but if you don't think she's going to be hungry going into next year, she put the world on notice this year, and they better be ready next year because, I mean, she is a hell of a player. And it was so fun to watch and just see our girls because – two nights before at the semifinal game, our girls are just in awe at what Caitlin was doing to South Carolina.
Yeah.
And then we get back and they're like, all right.
Yeah.
She had her time to shine.
Now
but now it's our turn. We got a game plan.
Yep.
So and being in the stands during that South Carolina game, there was a moment because it was tough. We knew that South Carolina was going to be very, very difficult to beat if we had to play them again. Say what you want. They've got size over us. They had depth over us. But when Caitlin pulled up in the fourth quarter with about 20 seconds left and missed the three, Iowa gets the rebound, goes to the free throw line, knocks two down. South Carolina goes down and misses, and then called off the dogs. Coach G and I looked at each other like, all right.
Okay, we got
and
a chance.
I'm not saying we knew we were going to win a natty at that point, but we felt pretty darn good about it.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I love it. And I think, too, there's been a lot of hate on Angel. I'm like, I think it's great for basketball and for the longevity of the sport and for Angel's career. Next year, she's going to have a huge target on her back. Yeah. She's going to have to come every single game because she did it to herself, but that's what the game needs, almost like a villain role. And to me, it's going to be, we're going to find out who Angel Reese is next year in LSU, and it'll be super fun to see them defend that. And it's one of the hardest things in sports to defend a national championship. Yeah. So it'll be fun to see how she responds, and I think we'll get to see her true character too. Yeah. And like I said, it'll be fun to see how Caitlin responds, and the game of basketball, the women's basketball is going to continue to grow. Oh,
I'd love to play Iowa again next year. Oof. I don't know if our schedule's done yet, and Johnny and Caitlin might kill me for even saying that, but like if we could get a non-conference game, even if it was in like New Orleans at the Smoothie King Center, something like that, like that would be insane.
It would be nuts.
It would be nuts. Like it would be so awesome. But that's what women's basketball needs. We don't need to go play a national championship game in a football stadium with 70,000 open seats. Like playing at the Mavericks Arena, 20,000 fans there, sold out to the roof. The lowest ticket price was $458, and it was literally at the top. I love that. Like, it's crazy what the game of women's basketball is doing. And Kramer texted me the other night after we won, and he's like, I don't think you realize what y'all just did for the game of women's basketball. Y'all are on the biggest stage with the biggest personalities. Like, y'all have changed the game of women's basketball 100%. Forever. Yep.
And to go on top of that, I think you guys are just taking it a step further too. You guys have the best dressed coaching staff in the fucking league, in the country. It's got to be, right? So I mean, even that too is like people tune in for that shit. Like all of you guys look good on the sidelines too,
right? And a lot of that, like, yeah, we like to dress nice. And when we got to LSU, we had to make the decision to the staff, like, do we want to wear the sweats and warm ups? And Coach Milky's like, no, we've got to have a set an impression, and say like we're here to play. Like, don't dress for the job you have, dress for the job you want. And we want all business. So people think, oh, Milky just dressed like that for attention. The girls love it, and the girls are really the ones that have a lot of impact on us. Hell, we're about to leave for the national championship. We have a huge send-off from our hotel. We come down the escalator. There's a sea of purple and gold. We get to the bus. All the girls walk out. The band starts playing. And I kind of look over my shoulder, and all the girls are glued to the window waiting to see what Milky's walking out in. Like, love it. It fires our girls up. Like, Kateri came up to me after or before the natty, 12 minutes on the clock. We're walking back to the locker room. She goes, yeah, you put that shit on today. And I was like, I had to. It's a national championship. I mean, Coach G's got a silk Balenciaga button down on. Like, Daphne had the fire blue suit on. Kaylin had the white. Coach Jennifer, like, the all black. She's never worn all black. And she's like, yeah, all black today. Johnny, like, the swaggiest, like, just perfect suit. Coach Starkey, he wore his favorite LSU tie, like, from top to bottom. Jordan with the pink blazer, like, our whole staff. And it's nice. You want to dress up, and people can say we do it for the attention. No, we do it because that's how we like to dress nice, and the girls love it. And if it's something that small that fires our girls up, like, hell yeah, we're going to do it.
Yeah, I love it, man. And who was telling me? Somebody came in here and said that if you guys made it to the Elite Eight or something, you were going to get this, like, badass suit. Maybe Lloyd, I don't know. Somebody told me. But so where did you get your suits tailored? I don't know did you get custom fits?
So I've got a couple customs. I wore 2 Haspel jackets. One was the purple velvet one. I wore that for the first round game against Hawaii. I wore a seersucker suit in the national semifinal game. That was also Haspel. That was what Joe Burrow wore for the Davey O'Brien Award. So Haspel hooked it up on those. Pierce Bespoke made me a suit. But I get a call from them on Saturday morning before the Natty. Your suit is stuck on a truck in Jackson, Mississippi. So that was around breakfast time.
Just shots.
I'm like, is there any way that suit is going to get here? I need to know ASAP.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know. So I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, we got to go to the mall. Like, I got to find something. So we go to Macy's. We go to Dillard's. We go all over. I'm like, there's nothing here. I ain't going to find it. Express, nothing. Go to Neiman's, nothing. Don't find anything. I'm like, Mom, we got to go back to Dillard's. So I find a purple jacket and some blue pants. I'm like, really, Joe? You're not about to wear this in a national championship. I'm like, we got to try it one more time. Yeah. So we go to Neiman's, and back corner by the dressing room, out of the corner of my eye, I just saw this flash of gold. And it's like crazy. Like, it was almost like a spark. Like, I turned my head, and it was like the gold. I guess one of the sparkles on the jacket hit my eye. I walk over there. There's no way they have my size. They have one jacket. 42 regular, 42 long.
Stop.
And I'm like, I'm a 42 regular, but I can fit in a 42 long.
Yeah.
And so folded inside were the black pants with the gold stripe, and I was like, yeah, this is it. Yeah. I was like, I don't want to look at the price tag, but mom's here, so
playing the national championship, you figure out the price later.
Yeah. So I look at the guy, and I was like, yeah, like, this is what I want. He was like, all right, the jacket needs to be taken in a little bit, so they fit me for it. He's like, all right, we could probably have it to you tomorrow or Monday. I was like, no. Like, I need it today. I need it by tonight because the game's at 2:30, and I need to be dressed by about 11 tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay. And so they ended up rushing it for me. Mom stayed and did some shopping for herself while I went back for practice, and she gets to the hotel. Everything fits. And then she threw in some Gucci loafers for me. Ooh, thanks, Mom.
Let's go.
Like, she's like, if it's going to be the Natty, it's got to be top to bottom. And I was like, Mom, you didn't have to do it. She's like, no, I had to.
You held that hug a little longer.
I held the hug a little longer. And that's God, dope. It just – and she had a pretty swaggy outfit, too. She went with the lavender blazer and some lavender shorts and then the Dolce & Gabbana shoes. Oof. Dad was dripped out with the dunks on. And then my brother, who's the most superstitious person, he's got his purple and gold Kobe's and jeans and his long sleeve LSU shirt that he wore for every tournament game this year. Some of the times we were on the road, he's like, I was literally hand washing this with soap and water at the hotel, but I'm not
using
changing
the blow dryer, drying it.
Exactly. So the whole family was dripped out. But I mean, I can't thank my parents enough for everything they've done. Just believing in me, and we've been such close friends with Coach Milky. We were all there in 2005 in Indianapolis when she won her first one. We were there in 2012 in Denver when she won her second, and then we were all in Tampa in 2019 when she won her third. But I posted this on Facebook yesterday. So those were all great being fans, but this one, like you said, the first one that LSU's won, and the first one that I've ever won. That was the first championship that I've ever won. Being able to have the family there, I knew they weren't going to miss it, but it was really special. So
it sounds like it, and I love hearing family being involved, right? Like, I mean, even the superstitious stuff, like, that just means everything. Those moments, you're going to never forget this the rest of your life, dude. So and it's just beginning. Hopefully you guys are doing this and celebrating this for, years to come with LSU.
Yeah, my junior year of high school, it was my brother's senior year. We lost in the state championship, but when we won district, we asked our coach, like, hey, can we cut down a net? I'd never cut down a net before, and so we cut down a net when we won a district championship. And so before the game, the NCAA told us that only one family member gets to come on the court, which is really weird. The NCAA talks about how they want to support their players. Yeah. So players and coaches only get one family member. How do you choose between a mom and dad? Right? How do you choose between a mom, dad, and a sibling? Yeah. So my one wristband, and I texted we have a group text with my mom, dad, and brother. I said, I only get one wristband. Who gets it? And my mom's like, y'all can make that decision. So I gave it to my brother. And I told him, I was like, you're climbing that ladder with me once we cut down the net, because we haven't gotten to do it since my junior and your senior year of high school. So allowing him to come on the court and be able to experience it. He always tells me he's corporate America and works for a consulting firm. Yeah. But he's always told me, if you ever become a head coach, I'll be your ops guy. And I'm keeping that in mind. I was like, we gotta kind of teach you a few things, but I was like, you got that spot. If I'm ever a head coach one day, he'll have a spot on my staff.
Yeah, I love that. Laying the groundwork now. You guys are visualizing it, putting it into motion. I love it. All right, good, man. Well, this has been a great conversation. I feel like we could talk for 5 more hours. Yeah. This was good. I'll let you get out of here. But before you leave, I think we talk about influence and people looking up to you and stuff like that. If there was a young girl that is 15 years old that wants to be a college basketball player, maybe doesn't have resources or didn't play before or just saw Angel and got inspired, or Floje, what's some advice that you have for them and kind of in your role and your position that you have at LSU?
Don't stop believing. I mean, set goals for yourself. Shoot for the moon. You're gonna have a seat with the stars. That's one of my favorite verses or favorite lines from Floje's songs. It's just, you can put a goal on a piece of paper on a whiteboard. And I kept a note card in my wallet from the time I was in college. It was a class that I took called Game Plan for Winning at Life. And the professor I talked about, who I worked for when I was in my master's, I actually sent him a picture of the note card yesterday, and it had all these goals on it. And the last goal on there I had written was be a Big 12 champion / national champion. And that was when I was a player, but that goal never changed.
Yeah.
And so we were talking yesterday, we were texting back and forth, and he said, whoa, I wasn't expecting a picture of that. And I was like, well, I'm going to celebrate this for a little bit, but it's time to make some new goals.
Yeah.
So as a young girl or a young boy or anyone who may think they're undersized or they're not talented enough, believe.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put your mind to something, you can accomplish anything. Keep working as hard as you can. And the other thing is, like, look up to multiple people. You don't just have to have one person that influences you. As I've said all along, we're trying to grow the game of basketball. There's so many different personalities on the women's side, from head coaches to players. It's just like, find a few people that you idolize and follow what they do, because there's not just one recipe for success. It's just putting your foot in front of the other every day, and doing something that really matters to you. And if you believe in yourself and you have those goals and aspirations, and you work towards them, it may not be perfect all the time, and there's going to be setbacks. But if you can persevere through adversity, you'll be able to accomplish whatever you want. And it's not going to happen on the first try. It's not going to happen on the second try. But if you get knocked down, get back up.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Just keep swimming. Like, that's what you got to do. And it's been the most enjoyable past couple months, and looking forward to a little bit of sleep. But I'm excited for what the future holds. And I told Coach Milky when she offered me the job here, I said, I'm with you till you retire. So I'm hoping I'm here for a long time, because I think we got a few more of these to win.
I hope so, man. As a business owner, as an LSU fan, LSU athlete, I love it. It's amazing. You guys have done a great job bringing great energy to LSU and fans and stuff. So I thank you. I thank you for your time, dude. This is the best time, after winning a championship, to go celebrate, spend time with everybody. So the fact that you sat here for an hour and bullshitted with me, I appreciate it.
Well, it was fun. It was fun. I'm happy to do it. And y'all come check out the shop. This is the second or third time I've been in here, and it just keeps growing. There's art all over here. There's cards, everything. So I might do some shopping after this.
Let's go. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Always good to see you, man.